What is going on, YouTube? Joe here with Culination Media, bringing you another live Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battle against subscriber/follower on Twitter, Salvador. And today we are having a UU match, which is a tier that I enjoy a lot more than OU. So at least as far as the enjoyment factor for me, this is going to be a lot more fun than OU matches. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I'm sure a lot of you enjoy the lower tiers as well. But nonetheless, it's going to be fun. Gonna be a lot of fun. Now, before we get started, if you can, show some love to that thumbs up button right below this video. That would help out a lot. Helps us reach our like goal, which is gonna be 70 likes for this particular video. And of course, I always appreciate your support, every little bit of it. Now, enough of that. Let's get into the teams for today. I am bringing Florges, Feraligatr, Shiftry, Torkoal, Golbat, and Jolteon. So that's right, I'm bringing bulk all over the place. Golbat, Florges, and Torkoal, all on the same team. That's going to be a lot of shenanigans. This is probably going to be a longer battle because I don't have a lot of really hard-hitting Pokemon. But the Pokemon I do have that are offensive are very powerful in Shiftry and Jolteon and things like that. And the Feraligatr as well, after it gets a little bit of setup time with the standard, D-dancing stuff. That type of thing. Alright, my opponent is bringing Mew, which is most likely going to be defensive or utility, something like that. That's usually how people run it. Crobat's probably going to be utility as well, maybe like Defog, possibly Taunt, those kinds of things. Mega Blastoise, I'm guessing. And then Nidoking, which could be Life Orb, could be Scarf. We also have Rhydon, which is going to be a pain in the butt to take out because, first of all, it's going to be immune to Jolteon's electricity. So is the Nidoking, but the Rhydon has the Eviolite, and that makes it incredibly bulky. And we also have the Snorlax as well, and that's probably going to be, if I had to guess, I would say a curse set. A lot of people like to run those because it patches up Snorlax. Its defensive side. Couldn't think of what I wanted to say there, but Snorlax has a lot of natural, specially defensive bulk, and not so much on the physical side, so Curse helps patch that up, and it also gives it some extra strength with its Body Slam and EQ and Crunch and all that other stuff that it likes to do. Now, I think I want to lead off with Torkoal here and get my rocks up. I mean, at the very least, we'll be able to scout to see if that Crobat has the Defog or not. I actually am thinking that he's going to want to lead off with the Crobat because he probably has the U-turn and that kind of thing. He cannot do a whole lot to Torkoal at all. I can yawn him, I can do all kinds of things. Lava Plume, get it burned, that kind of thing. So I'm pretty comfortable with going out into Torkoal here. He's actually going to lead off with the Blastoise, possibly predicting the Torkoal lead, so not bad at all. I obviously cannot stay in here. He's most likely going to Mega Evolve. And I really don't have a switch into this other than Florges. Now, the standard moves that Blastoise likes to run as for coverage would be Ice Beam, Dark Pulse, and possibly Aura Sphere. I resist 2 of those, so that's good, but a Water Pulse is probably coming here. No, he's not going to Mega Evolve, he's going to go for the Water Spout. That really doesn't do that much damage, but what kind of set is this? I wonder if this is a choice Blastoise. That would be freaky. We don't see a Life Orb, but he's definitely offensive if he's carrying the Water Spout. That is very interesting. He might just switch out here. Especially if he is, well, not especially, I was about to say especially if he's choice, but I guess it doesn't matter because he can't do a whole lot to me. Anyway, we are going, oh, he's going to switch out into the Mew. Okay, that's interesting. We'll see right here what kind of set it is. Oh, he's going to avoid the Toxic. Alright, that is cool. We're pretty much, I don't know what else to do here. I mean, he's got 2 poison types, so he's got options as far as switching in on this Toxic. I'm going to go for it again. But I don't want to make a prediction this early because that could put me in a bad spot if I predict the wrong one. Because Nidoking can put holes in your team pretty quickly, especially if it's Scarfed. It's going to be the Crobat coming in on this Toxic, and I am pretty sure that he's going to want to taunt me here. Pretty sure, either that or U-turn. So I really want to scout and see what this thing has. And if I go into Torkoal and he taunts, then that would be bad because 3 of my moves are non-attacking moves. So I'd rather have him taunt the Florges and then go out into Torkoal. So we're going to test that out right here. And, I really think that the taunt is coming, but it's possible that he's not carrying it if he wants to carry the Defog instead. I know on my Crobat, I run Brave Bird, Roost, Defog, and U-turn. He is going to go for the taunt. So at least we know he has that now. I mean, that's going to be a little bit of a pain because I've got some bulky Pokemon and this kind of just shuts them down. But I also can't just bring in my heavy hitters like Jolteon when he's got 2 ground types and a Snorlax that are just going to absorb hits left and right as far as Jolteon is concerned. So I pretty much have to switch here. Moonblast is going to do absolutely nothing to this Crobat. So we're going to go into Torkoal. We can take anything this thing wants to throw our way. He's going to go for the U-turn. I kind of wish I had the Rocky Helmet, but that's going to do nothing. And that's not even going to do Lefty's recovery. And he will be able to switch into his Blastoise, I'm guessing. That would be his best switch at this point because he's going to outspeed regardless of what his item is. We know he's offensive, so he's probably invested in speed. And he still is at full health as well, so he can just come in and start firing off water spouts. And that pretty much just, at this point, is forcing me to go back into my Florges. Really don't see anything else that I can do. I mean, the water spout is coming. I don't want to go into Shiftry and break my Focus Sash. And actually, my game plan here, this is going to be a long battle because of how many bulky Pokemon we both have. Honestly, we both have like 3 bulky Pokemon apiece. So it's going to take a while before somebody's team just finally falls apart here. But my game plan is to keep Shiftry on the sidelines and come in late game and clean up whatever's left of his team. So we're not going to force Shiftry in as a wall break or anything like that. He's going to double out into his Nidoking, predicting that I was going to send out my Florges because that's what I did the last time. So that was a fantastic play on my opponent's part. Unless for some reason that wasn't the thought process, but I'm giving him too much credit. I don't think that's the case, though. I think he did predict that, especially because that's what I did the last time, and I really had no choice. If you look at my team, who am I going to switch in on this Blastoise? Jolteon's not going to take it very well. There's no reason for me to go into Shiftry, and most people know that I run Focus Sash on my Shiftry almost all the time. The only other item that I run on is the Lumberry. Not Lumberry. I'm talking about Shiftry. I'm thinking for Alligator. Life Orb would be the only other item that I run on Shiftry. Just had a little bit of a brain fart. I could go into the Feraligatr, but if he has the Dark Pulse, I don't want to be taking all kinds of damage. And, you know, you don't normally switch your sweepers and wall breakers in on attacking moves, especially after we found out that Blastoise is offensive. He's going to go for the Sludge Wave. That's going to do more than I wanted it to, so I'm thinking that he's not Scarfed. I'm thinking that that is Life Orb damage. And it sucks because it's really difficult to tell with Nidoking because he doesn't take Life Orb recoil for moves that have added effects, which typically is all of Nidoking's moves. Earth Power, Sludge Wave, Flamethrower, T-Bolt, Ice Beam, all of that stuff. So that kind of sucks. We were able to get a Wish off, but we cannot stay in here. I don't have Protect on this Florges, so I can't get all of my HP back. And even if I did, there'd be no point in doing that whatsoever. Fortunately, we're just going to have to eat that damage for now. And we're going to have to switch into something that can take that. I can switch into Golbat, I guess. So I guess that's what we're going to do here. That's going to be our best play, to switch into the Golbat. And even if he wants to go for Ice Beam, I should get most of that HP back. He goes for the Sludge Wave anyway because that was the safe play to make. And we're going to get all that HP back. It didn't really do that much damage to begin with. But a Golbat at full health is a good Golbat. I'm thinking he's going to go for either Ice Beam or T-Bolt here, depending on which one he has. He could have both. A lot of Nidokings do run that. I mean, I have Flamethrower on mine just because it typically works better with the teams that I like to bring. But nonetheless, the Bolt Beam coverage is usually better. He does go for the Ice Beam as we are going for the Brave Bird. And the Ice Beam does well over half. That has to be Life Orb damage. Brave Bird does just about 50%, and with the recoil, I mean, the recoil doesn't matter at all because we're going to go down to another Ice Beam anyway. Now, if he is a better player than me, he's going to go for a T-Bolt, predicting me to switch in something that would resist the incoming Ice Beam. And that would be the Feraligatr. So, if he goes for a T-Bolt here, he's going to be way better than me. He's just on a different level, and I don't even know what to say. But we have to go into the Feraligatr here. I guess we could go back into the Florges, but that's just taking damage and not getting anywhere as far as momentum goes. We have to predict the Ice Beam. He does go for the Ice Beam. That's not going to do a whole lot. That actually does a little bit more than I thought it was going to, but Feraligatr doesn't have the best defenses. and it's not like I'm invested or anything. So I am invested in attack and speed. So we could potentially set up a Dragon Dance here. That's possible. He is going to switch out, so I know he's not Scarfed. I mean, we know he's not Scarfed anyway because he's been switching moves. He switched to the Ice Beam and all that stuff. So I'm going to go for the Aqua Jet, and that is really going to do absolutely nothing to this Crobat whatsoever. And he can very easily just taunt me here, so we're going to go for the Waterfall. I feel like that's a better play. Get some damage off on this thing. And he is holding the Black Sludge. We may be able to see what kind of like setup he's running as far as, is he physically defensive? Is he... we don't know. We don't know what set this thing is running. We've seen Taunt and U-Turn so far. I know it's got to be some kind of utility, but we don't know exactly what the spread looks like at this point, what he's invested in. I actually went for the Ice Punch, not the Waterfall, so that is a thing. I don't know why I said Waterfall earlier, but I did click the Ice Punch. So that's going to do a decent amount of damage to this Crobat, but really not as much as I thought it was going to. Wow, that does absolutely nothing. I wonder if this thing is physically defensive. Because that's a super effective hit from a Feraligatr. That's crazy. I mean, I know I don't have any boosts up, but that did absolutely nothing. Wow, that's ridiculous. We cannot Dragon Dance because he did taunt us the turn before. Or not the turn before, this past turn when we went for the Ice Punch. So that is out of the question. We cannot set up on this thing. He's going to go for the Roost to get back up to full health, and that is absolutely fine by me because this time we went for the Waterfall, and that's going to at least do more damage than Ice Punch would when he's roosting and losing that flying type, but that still does absolutely nothing. I really think this thing is physically defensive. That would make a little bit of sense. Not a little bit of sense, it would make sense. I mean, Crobat obviously is taking those hits pretty darn well. I've never used a completely physically defensive Crobat, but it works well on a Golbat, so I can see how it would work on a Crobat as well. Now, we pretty much have to switch here because we're not getting anywhere by just going for Waterfall. So we're going to go into Torkoal, and that should be able to take this Brave Bird pretty well. Thankfully, he didn't go for that the turn before because that would have been bad news. Take all that damage on my Feraligatr. That would have hampered my ability to set up later on. So Torkoal actually takes that very, very nicely. And after the leftovers, that does, what, 26 damage is the net damage on that Brave Bird. Absolutely nothing. He may try to taunt me here. He may try to U-turn out. There's all these possibilities. He's going to go for the U-turn. And I'm guessing that the Blastoise is going to be coming in. Because every time this Torkoal comes out, he likes to go into the Blastoise. I can't do much to the Blastoise. My only attacking move is the Lava Plume, so the most I can do is get a burn. And the residual damage isn't going to mean a whole lot if it's an offensive Blastoise. It really just does not mean much whatsoever. He's going to go out into the Mew. Interesting. And I went for the Lava Plume here because I was afraid that he could potentially taunt me, and getting a burn on it would be great. We're actually going to get the burn on the Mew, though, which is fantastic because this thing is most likely a defensive Mew. This is probably his specially defensive Pokemon, and then Crobat would be his physically defensive. So that makes a little bit of sense. The Mew Crobat core, not bad at all. But the Synchronize obviously does absolutely nothing because Torkoal is a fire type and he can't be burned. Does that turtle look like he wants to be burned? Does he look like he cares? He doesn't. Torkoal doesn't care about that at all. So residual damage on this Mew is going to be great. He probably has some kind of recovery move. I don't know what they normally run, like Soft Boiled or Roost or something. It doesn't matter. Mew can do so many different things. I'm really hoping that it's a defensive one and not a crazy offensive. But I don't see any really like potential other specially defensive Pokemon on his team. And judging by how much that Lava Plume did, I would have to say it's a specially defensive Mew. So I don't know what moves he's running. Maybe like Will-O-Wisp and Roost, and I don't even know. I don't know enough about Mew, to be honest. I really don't. I don't see it a whole lot, and obviously I never use it, so that is a thing. Now, I don't think this thing is also running Taunt, so I could try to like set up some rocks here. That has potential. He's actually going to withdraw the Mew. Okay, and he's going to go back into the Crobat. Very interesting. We're going to actually withdraw our Torkoal here, and we're going to go into Golbat. So this is not a terrible matchup for us, because I don't know that Brave Bird from an uninvested Crobat will kill, because I am completely physically defensive. And I might just be able to get a Roost off here, as long as he doesn't taunt me first. He may try to just kill me off, and that might be a mistake, honestly. He is going to go for the taunt, so that kind of sucks, because we cannot use Roost after we've been taunted. That was a good play on my opponent's part. Really nothing I could do about that. I had to go for it because I don't want to give up this Crobat. Or not Crobat. I don't want to give up this Golbat to this Crobat. I have like a family feud going on right here. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. So we are like 13 minutes into this battle, and it is still 6-on-6. I knew at Team Preview that this was going to be a long battle, and it is proving to be just that. It's going to be quite a long battle. I mean, not necessarily a stall fest. We don't have like stallish Pokemon by any means, but there's recovery on both sides, a lot of bulky Pokemon, and the cores that we brought are difficult to break. Honestly, they really are. Really are. So I don't know what this thing's going to want to go for now. He may try to Brave Bird just to kill me off, because this Golbat is honestly a huge problem for his team. He doesn't want things getting toxic all over the place. And yeah, so we're actually going to switch out here, go into the Jolteon to take the Brave Bird if he wants to go for that. He does go for the Brave Bird, and we should outspeed, even though Jolteon and Crobat have the same base speed. I don't know that he's completely invested in speed. I'm pretty sure he has some, if not complete, investment in his physical defense. So we should be faster. I am running timid, max speed, all of that jazz. I'm specs as usual. He could switch in his Rhydon or Nidoking here, so we're going to predict that and go for the Shadow Ball, but the Snorlax is coming out. So maybe he predicted me to predict him to go into... Wow. He predicted me to predict him to go into a ground type and therefore go for the Shadow Ball, so he went into Snorlax because Snorlax is immune to that. That was a fantastic prediction on my opponent's part, or just a crazy coincidence. Nonetheless, we have to switch now because we are locked into Shadow Ball, and that is absolutely useless against the Snorlax. Not that Volt Switch or T-Bolt would be any less useless, because Snorlax has special bulk that's just absolutely ridiculous. Very high HP stat as well. He may just start to set up curses all over my face, and I really don't want my face to be cursed on. So we're going to go into Golbat because he's going to go for the Crunch. I think we might be able to take that. I don't know. It's going to be close. It's going to be close, and we do survive with 20 HP, so that actually, judging by the fact that we started with like 44 HP, that really wasn't that close. It was only about half the HP that we had left. We do outspeed this, so I can Roost on this thing. He's going to withdraw the Snorlax, and he's going to go into the Nidoking, perhaps predicting a Toxic, because he's probably running Thick Fat on that Snorlax, but I'm not going for that. I'm going for the Roost to get my HP back at least over the 50% mark, more like 60%. I absolutely needed that because I just did. That Crobat was going to outspeed me and kill me off with the Brave Bird, and it's faster and can taunt me and all of that, all these shenanigans that I don't want to deal with. So I actually kind of want to just sacrifice this Golbat, even though I did that, just to get rid of this Nidoking, because this Nidoking is a huge offensive threat. Brave Bird will kill it, unless I just get like crazy min damage. But I don't outspeed, because I'm not invested in speed. And I don't know, I think I might be able to survive an Ice Beam. Will I? I don't know. I don't know if that's the best idea, but if he has the T-Bolt and he predicts me to go into the Feraligatr again like I did last time, that will be a huge problem as well. So we're in a little bit of a pickle here. The mind games that are going on in this match right now are real, and I like it. This guy's a very adept battler, and I like that a lot. I like his team a lot. I like the strategies that he's running on it, and we've pretty much been at a stalemate here this entire match. We've just both been vying for momentum, and it just hasn't really gotten us anywhere. None of us are really better off than the other. So That is the thing. I'm actually starting to run out of time here, so I should probably make up my mind on what I want to do. Do I want to predict that Ice Beam? Do I want to predict a T-Bolt? The decisions. I'm totally running the clock right now, too. I just need to make a decision. He's going to go for the Ice Beam. We're staying in. And I need to hope I survive. And I survive with 10 HP. I'm not sure that may have been min damage, which is terrible for him if it is, because this Brave Bird's going to take out both of us. It's going to be an eye for an eye right here. Golbat and Nidoking both going down, as Golbat's going to go down to the recoil from that Brave Bird. But that is a huge threat of my opponent's team out of the way. Absolutely huge threat. He still has a very powerful special attacker in that Blastoise, though, which I'm kind of thinking that it's going to be choice. It's either Specs or Scarf. I'm not sure which. I don't know if we'll get the chance to see. If we get Jolteon versus Blastoise at some point during this match and he outspeeds, then we'll know. In fact, I don't even know if Blastoise outspeeds with a Scarf. If it outspeeds Jolteon, I'm not sure. Blastoise is not the fastest Pokemon in the world. It really is not. So it's unfortunate that Golbat had to go down there, especially because I have recovery on it. Wasn't exactly necessary, but I want to get something going in this match. And now we're 5-5. He goes into the Feraligatr, or I go into the Feraligatr. He goes into the Crobat. That's not what I wanted to see. I was honestly hoping for Blastoise there because I can set up all over it. It can't do anything except for Dark Pulse me, and that's not going to be a one-shot. I can set up a Dragon Dance and do some things, although, to be fair, I can't do a whole lot to a Blastoise either. Unless I could set up 2 Dragon Dances, and if he's offensive, that probably wouldn't happen, so I don't know what I was hoping to see. But I don't like this Crobat. I do not like this Crobat whatsoever, because it outspeeds me, it can taunt me, prevent all of my Dragon Dance thing, so we're just going to straight up switch out, because we saw that our attacks do absolutely nothing even with not considering that we didn't get any boosts last time. Still, it just did absolutely nothing. He's going to go for the taunt as we switch into Torkoal, which is, I guess, a little bit unfortunate because we cannot set up rocks, and rocks would be great right now to have up on my opponent's side of the field because of all the switching and maneuvering around that he's been doing. This Crobat would be taking 25% every time it comes in, and it would be pretty close to dead at this point, unless it has the Defog, which it still might. I don't think we've seen its whole moveset. We've seen Taunt, U-Turn, Brave Bird, Roost. Oh, no, we have. It doesn't have the Defog. Okay. Alright, well, we at least know the Crobat's moveset. He's going to U-Turn out here because he doesn't want to get burned, he doesn't want residual damage, and he knows most likely that my only attacking type move is going to be the Lava Plume. The only other thing that Torkoal commonly runs is going to be the Earth Power, and I do not have that. And there is the Lava Plume as the Mew comes out, and that does absolutely nothing. It's just basically chip damage. It pretty much does as much as the Burn is going to do. In fact, Burn might actually do more than what Lava Plume did, which is really sad, but it might be the truth. He's going to eat his Citrus Berry, so all of that damage that we just did to this Mew was absolutely useless. But at the very least, we got to see what item he was holding. I was kind of wondering why he didn't have the lefties before, but that pretty much confirms, even though that I don't think we've seen an actual move from this Mew at this point, that he's definitely a defensive variant. Shiny Mew looks so cool. That blue, that sky blue coloring is just, it's too good. It's too good. We're going to go into our Ivy, the Florges here, because we should be able to do some things like setting up some wishes, especially because this Mew is defensive. He shows us the Stealth Rock, and that is interesting. That is interesting. So he's probably got Roost or Soft Boil or some kind of recovery move, Stealth Rock, Will-O-Wisp, and then maybe mono attacking with Psychic, potentially. He's going to go for the Roost here, get back up to full HP. That is absolutely fine. At this point, I kind of wish that I had the opportunity to Toxic it and not burn it, because Toxic at least would rack up. But we're able to get a free Wish off here, so we can either get our full HP back, because we are going to get over 50% with the lefties here, or we can choose to pass this off to something. Jolteon has taken some damage, so we can pass it off to Jolteon here, but we still have that Rhydon around, so I don't know if it's a good idea to switch it in here and start trying to do things. And Snorlax is still alive too, so Jolteon can't do a whole lot. He's going to withdraw the Mew. We can also try to pass it into the Feraligatr because we took some damage with that. He's going to go into the Rhydon right now. Shiny Rhydon. Are all his Pokemon shiny? Saw the Crobat and just all kinds of things. Everything's shiny. We're going to go for the Moonblast. I decided, you know what? We're just going to let this floor just get back up to full health. It got destroyed earlier on in the match with Sludge Waves and all kinds of abuse from Blastoise and Nidoking and Water Spout, just everything. Just poor little Ivy was getting bombarded with special attacks. We just made her take attack after attack, so it's great to have her back up to full health. That Moonblast did a surprising amount of damage to this Rhydon. I mean, I'm pretty sure that it's Eviolite. Most people don't run Rhydon without the Eviolite. I know Rhydon has terrible special defense, so that kind of makes sense, but they're just so bulky. Absolutely incredible bulk. The problem here is that my physical wall, the only physical Pokemon that I have left as far as being able to take hits, is going to be my Torkoal, and he's not going to like any kind of rock-type moves like Stone Edge or Rock Blast, and he's not going to like an EQ either. So we're going to go for a Wish here. I want to see what this thing wants to do. He's going to go for the Poison Jab. He has the Poison Jab, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to do well over half and get the poison on poor Ivy. She's been getting smacked around this entire match, and it's just not even fair. Just not even fair. So now we basically have to try to pass our Wish here because she's not going to survive this turn. And she's pretty much useless at this point. Because I know I have the aromatherapy, but I really don't have any time to get it off. And yeah, she's going to be a sacrifice if I leave her in here. So what can we go into that wants to take a Poison Jab? I mean, he could go for the EQ too, because an EQ most likely will kill unless this thing is Choice Banded, which is also possible. Now, man, if only Golbat was alive, I would go into Golbat in a heartbeat. We're going to go into the Feraligatr here. I know I can take one, and we should be able to retaliate back with a one-shot. He goes to the Poison Jab again, so I'm starting to wonder if this thing is, in fact, Choice Banded. But we're going to get just about all of our HP back due to that Wish, which is great. We're like 25 minutes into this match right now. We're just about 25 minutes into this match, and it is 5-on-5. This is a ridiculously stalemate-ish kind of match. So hopefully we can start blowing some holes through my opponent's team. Rhydon is actually going to switch out here. He does not want to have to take any kind of water-type move. He's going to go into the Crobat, which is absolutely fantastic because I predicted either a switch or for him to not be able to one-shot me. And judging by that last Poison Jab damage, so we get the DD off, and we will be doing at least a little bit more damage to this Crobat now. If he wants to taunt me here, that would be absolutely perfect. That would be absolutely perfect because we can just go for damage. Try to get rid of this thing. And at that point, with this Crobat gone, he will have all of his toxic immunities gone, which unfortunately our Florges is also just about dead as well. But we're going to go for the Ice Punch. That doesn't quite do half because he wasn't at full HP, so it does like about 45%. He's going to go for the Brave Bird here, and that doesn't do nearly as much as he needed it to. He's going to get the Black Sludge recovery, but we outspeed. So this Crobat most likely is going to go down here, barring some kind of min damage craziness that I don't even really want to talk about right now because I'll be kind of mad if that's the case. I don't know what he would want to switch in on an Ice Punch at this point. His team was actually pretty weak to Ice to begin with. The only thing I can think of would be the Snorlax. It doesn't have the best physical bulk, but it has the thick fat. So, but he can't go for the U-turn either because I do outspeed thanks to that +1 speed boost from the Dragon Dance. So he's in a little bit of a pickle here. His best bet might be to sacrifice this Crobat and get a safe switch into the Snorlax to then kill me off. But then again, a Waterfall at +1 is going to do a lot of damage to Snorlax. So I don't know. This Feraligatr is putting in some serious amounts of work right here. He's going to stay in as we go for the Waterfall. I really predicted him to switch out. And the Waterfall does not kill, but we get the flinch as he survives with what appears to be like 5.5 HP. Holy smokes, I really thought he was going to switch in that Snorlax. I really thought he was going to switch in that Snorlax right there. Man, alright, well now it doesn't matter what we go for. We might as well just go for the Waterfall again because we do outspeed. So that is a little bit hacksy. I know Waterfall has a 30% chance of flinching, but still, I guess Ice Punch would have been the safest play, but I really thought he might try to preserve that for some of my other Pokemon, but he decides that Crobat is no longer useful. He's going to go into the Blastoise, and we should outspeed unless this thing is Scarfed. It's either Scarfed or Specs. I really do believe that this Blastoise is choice, which is really strange and not by any means standard, but Water Spout and some speed investment, I'm thinking that it's a choice Blastoise. We will see. He's actually going to outspeed and go for the Hydro Pump. Okay. This is a Scarfed Blastoise. That is amazing. Waterfall's not going to do that much. I kind of was just going to go for the flinch there. It actually, wow. Okay, it does like 45%. 45% to a Blastoise. I mean, I know I'm at +1, but she definitely is invested in speed and probably special attack here. So, yeah, we're going to go down unless we go for an Aqua Jet at this point. He decided to not go for the Water Spout because I guess he assumed that he was going to be taking damage, and Water Spout was not going to be doing that much. So, I mean, Scarf Blastoise with Water Spout is really not bad at all. It's really not that bad. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it could do some serious damage. Kudos to you for using something other than Mega Blastoise in UU, because nobody uses Blastoise other than Mega Blastoise. Very few people. I mean, I use mine as an Assault Vest Rapid Spinner a lot of times. So, I mean, I think it works. It's super bulky. If you have some wish support, it can do all kinds of things. All kinds of things. Now, I'm thinking, like I mentioned, that Aqua Jet is going to be my best bet, or just go for the Waterfall, predicting something else. I actually decided on the Waterfall, and the Hydro Pump is going to kill me off. I really wish I went for the Aqua Jet. I was talking about it, and thinking about it, and I decided Waterfall, and that did not work. That did not work, so we don't get any chip damage off in this Blastoise, but we can go into Shiftry at this point. We can survive a Hydro Pump. We do have our Sash broken by the Stealth Rocks, which is unfortunate. But he cannot kill us with a Hydro Pump. I know for a fact that he's locked into it, so he's probably going to switch out here or just stay in and try to do some damage. Either or is fine with me, because we're going to get up to +2, and we will be able to, I don't know if we'll be able to sweep the rest of his team, but we're going to be able to do a lot of damage. Because anytime you let us Shiftry set up a Swords Dance, you are going to be in huge trouble. In comes the Mew. We're going to get the Swords Dance up. This thing is specially defensive if I've ever seen one, judging by the hits that we've thrown its way here. So I think that a knockoff is actually going to kill. We're definitely going to outspeed. So here's the knockoff. Let's see. Come on. And Mew goes down. And, oh, I actually should have went for... Now that I'm thinking about it, that didn't even get the boost because he already used the Citrus Berry. So we got lucky there. I mean, he was not going to go for an attacking type move, so Sucker Punch, I guess, was out of the question. I guess it was still my best bet to go for the knockoff. He's probably going for Will-O-Wisp, if I really had to make a guess. But at this point, he's got 3 Pokemon left. I don't know if any of them can stop this Shiftry sweep now. I mean, it's not a full sweep because it's only like 4 Pokemon, but I don't know if he has anything. He's going to bring in the Rhydon. We outspeed that. We know it's not Scarfed, so we're going to go for the Seed Bomb. That should take this Rhydon out. It's going to be ×4 effective. I know he has the Eviolite, or it's possible that he has the Eviolite. We really were not able to tell if it was Choice Banded or not, judging by the damage. I couldn't really tell. It was a little bit too close to call. So that is the thing. I mean, Poison Jab may have just flat out killed Florges if he was Choice Banded. I'm not really sure. I don't face Rhydons a whole lot. But we are going to go for the Seed Bomb. As I mentioned, this Rhydon's not going to take that. No, not taking that. Rhydon goes down. Shiftry picking up another kill. So he has the Blastoise, which does outspeed us. And he's going to send that out right now. But a Sucker Punch at +2 against a defensively invested Blastoise is going to kill. He's most likely carrying 4 attacking moves, because he's a choice Pokemon, and that's what they do. So there's the Sucker Punch. It is going to connect, and the Blastoise is going down. Shiftry picking up a third kill. Just a few minutes ago, it was 5-5, and Shiftry is just making a huge difference here. Out comes the Snorlax. Our best bet at this point is going to be to go for the knockoff, because that's going to do the most amount of damage. We get rid of any item that the Snorlax is holding. It's almost a one-shot. Almost. He goes for the Curse because I'm guessing that that is really his only option to win. I guess. Maybe he thought that Snorlax wasn't going to take that much from a knockoff. But he really had to try to kill this thing. If he had the Body Slam, that's what I would have went for, to try to get the paralysis and then outspeed and kill. Maybe he was predicting me to go for a Sucker Punch. That's also possible. But he's going to forfeit the match here. That's going to be it. There's no reason to go the extra turn. I mean, Shiftry was definitely going to take out that Snorlax. So thank you very much for the match, Salvador. Some crazy predictions. A very long match as well. It was a stalemate for the longest time, until Shiftry finally came through in the end. I want to thank you all for watching, as always, and do not forget to click that thumbs up button right below this video if you enjoyed it, because it does help out a lot, and I will see you all for the next battle. But until then, game on.